The global dependence on China for key pharmaceutical ingredients is well known, and India is no exception. The dependence on China certainly stretches more than 50% for Indian pharma industry. Let's do a three-point analysis of the impact of coronavirus on Indian pharma companies. 1. Vital minerals off the shelf. Well, as per the Indian Drug Regulatory Authority, 57 APIs of antibiotics, vitamins and steroids can go out of stock in case of a prolonged shutdown in China. Now, the Hubei province, the center of epidemic, is also a major source for a wide variety of APIs, which caters to 10% of the global ibuprofen demand. Solara Active, Granules India and IOL Chemicals are the key Indian producers of ibuprofen in India. In case of vitamins, the dependence on China is high for vitamin C, B6, B2, B1, H and thiamine. Now coming to B6, a key ingredient pyridine is also a largely sourced product from China. About two-thirds of pyridine and its salts are imported into India that are coming from China. Now, there is, however, an exception in the case of vitamin D. India is the net exporter for vitamin D API and capsules. Now, India is highly dependent on China for key antibiotic APIs as well. India's dependence on China is very high for about 16 classes of antibiotics. While there are a few intermediaries, solvents and other raw materials which are available in India to manufacture, the key starting material is missing for these products. Now, as per our estimates, at least 20% of India's total pharma exports to the world in volume terms is antibiotics. Now, of this, a large portion is in the form of formulations, tablets and capsules. Now, this means that the Indian manufacturers have been working on a value-added model, sourcing ingredients from China and selling drugs to the world. Now, this also means that the non-availability of raw material from China would actually impact India's pharma exports. 2. Key bottleneck in logistics as well. Well, logistics is the biggest hurdle right now. For instance, delivery staff bringing shipment from the interiors of China to major port cities such as Shanghai need to be quarantined for 14 days before resuming work. Now, this means that even if the labor availability issue is resolved and necessary approvals are in place, plants would continue to operate at a low utilization level, and otherwise it would only lead to a pile-up of inventory. General assessment is that supply from Hubei could actually take 4 to 5 months to normalize, even if the situation is quickly brought under control. 3. Impact of China situation on the Indian pharma companies. Well, prices of most of the APIs, particularly catering to vitamins and antibiotics, have jumped up in the last 1 month. Since most product prices of formulations are capped under drug price control, passing on raw material price increases may not reflect in the retail drug prices unless regulatory authorities decide to relax the ceiling prices given the special conditions. However, companies catering to the export market could benefit. Most of the companies suggest that the impact from the coronavirus shutdowns would actually be across the board and are likely to start reflecting from the second half of March 2020 if the China restriction continues. Now, our preliminary study also suggests that API plays such as Divi's Laboratories, Solara Active, Laurus Labs, Granules would be the significantly impacted ones if China shutdown continues from here on. Nevertheless, there are a few companies which can be on investors' radar due to their limited import exposure, just like Alchem Labs, or categories which are relatively immune to the China trouble like vitamin D. Fomenta Biotech is a big producer, glucosamine-based osteoarthritis products like Tyke Industries, and also Medicament Biotech, which has its product range mainly in the beta-lactam antibiotics, which could also be an interesting place to watch out for. Now, in terms of the long-term opportunity, the current crisis can actually present an entry opportunity for the pharma companies which are well diversified and are also working towards building new capacities and also looking at backward integration right now.